Okay, here we go to part three of this, where man is claiming Egypt is a black African empire, and he had scientific proof. If you've missed part one and part two, at the end of this, part one is going to be up in your top left-hand corner, and something new will be in the right-hand corner. When you go back to the other ones, at the end of one, two is in the top left-hand corner, and then on two, three is in the top left-hand corner. Same way, so you can continue, so they link. It sometimes shows up in the sidebar, but automatically shows up there, so look for it at it. I try to mention it at the end of every video, but the editor cuts off quite often at the very end of it. Anyhow, so we get back into this Afrocentric lie. Let's look into it. His next statement is, can you tell me why every time they make the reproduction from a mummy, and he spells it wrong, of an ancient Egyptian's face with a computer, they find a black African face? Notice he probably had to say black African face because North Africa was always Caucasians, and so is East Africa and through the Horn of Africa. Then this picture is shown as being every time it makes an African face. Okay, well, real quickly, you can see that this person's nose is as wide as their mouth and a big bottom lip, and yeah, it's a negroid, but he looks admixed, definitely admixed. But there's this picture inserted on this. So we look at this person, and he has a small alkaline nose and Caucasian features, and doesn't look anything like this whatsoever. But is this the representation we're given? No, it's not. Let's look at what the representation that's given is. King Tut. Okay, so right off the bat, we're looking at small alkaline nose, Caucasian, and then a Caucasian depiction of him. And every single one of these are similar fashion. There's only a couple of masks of it, but in the same statement, they're all Caucasians. This is done in wood with red ochre over the top of it in a blushing fashion, but negroids aren't red ochre. But what is red ochre is all of the Egyptian art of men, not women, they're drawn pale, and the Greeks. Men are red ochre, women are pale. Etruscans, Minoans, Mitanni, lots of people around this whole area, but no Negroids. And they don't have anything to do with Egypt, but we'll clarify that as we keep going on. For here you see another depiction of that same face, and it's Caucasian. Caucasian, 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 Caucasian. No matter what, any depiction you would have of this is a Caucasian with a slight overbite, somewhat flattened head on top. Yeah, he's definitely a Caucasian. So why would the black guy say that? Well, let me see if I can go down and see. Well, I've gone a page or two down, and I'm down to the point of Steve Martin and his old King Tut song from Saturday Night Live. But I sure can't find the Negro depiction. Oh wait, there's another Caucasian, and there's another Caucasian. And then unlock the secrets of DNA. What is this? Well, if you click on it, it tells you that he's related to Anatolians and Proto-Indo-Europeans, or early European farmers, and that's what he was related to, and so is she. And you can tell she also doesn't have negroid features. If you really want to whoop on it, just as simply as her hair is done right there, they take that hair and look at it under a microscope and can tell you exactly what it is, and they've had no problem in discerning what it is. Here's another depiction of King Tut, and this is famous, but I don't know why would they say that's a Negro. This is also done out of yew wood, but this one was in his tomb, so it did not get moisture to it and turn dark like most of the yew wood statues do, like Queen Tut. And they try to say, Queen Tut, oh, she had an afro and everything. No, they've run that to a CAT scan. What that is a thin silver veil over the top of a pharaoh mask, like what he has on him right now. And that there's no fro. In fact, why would there be a fro whenever that's what her mom looked like? This is what her brother looked like. Why would he all of a sudden have a fro? Well, black people really desperately want him to have a fro. Well, that's strange. Why do they want that whenever you know that they weren't related to the Egyptians in any way? West Africans, and I mean, the only black people that were around them were Nilotic Nubians and stuff, and they didn't even allow them into Egypt, so why would they say things like this? Well, they actually recently are trying to claim every single Caucasian early group, Sumerians, Egyptians. Oh, I've got them saying that there were Greeks, they were Phoenicians, they were the Moors, they were all kinds of things. And actually, in a proof of each one of my videos, I show that they were none of those things. They were West African primitives until just recently. And what took them out of that wasn't themselves, but Caucasian contact. This colonization they talk about, and colonizing, ooh, and that came out in that um, what was that Caucasian Jew made comic book movie recently? Oh, Black Panther, yeah. And it said that they were spacemen and had all kinds of special stuff there, something special there. And that was nice of them to do for it, but all it's done is feed the engine of, look, no Negroids. Yeah, desperately they want to be associated with anywhere. And you look at mummies like this, and of course they quoted them with a tar resin whenever they got through with them. But Bob Breyer, Mr. Mummy, look it up, Bob Breyer, Brier, I think, instead. Yeah, and Mr. Mummy, put that in there, and it'll put it in there. And he's got a bunch of videos, but look at the one where it says where he makes a mummy. For he takes a Caucasian as light as Steve Martin is right here and turns him into a mummy. And whenever he does, he's as dark as beef jerky. Just the natron process alone gets him that dark. And then, of course, if you put black shellac over him, it'll look like that. So they take this cranium of him here and they run it through, and lo and behold, it's Caucasian. And so I don't know why he keeps stating that. Oh, here's the first one I can find. There's a baby care center called King Tut's Playground, and it shows a baby with a little King Tut mask and shows a black person on it. I'm not going to zoom in on it. That's another where they don't want to say African Zulu playground, and they don't want to say primitive witch doctor playground. They want to usurp another culture's history and state that they were them. Yeah, it's gotten past disgusting, but that's okay. So, again, I guess we're back to what a lie. The wide nose, the thin nose on the statue. Does anybody breathe in an oxygen? Now they show you Queen Nefertiti, and this is the one picture they show where it looks dark-skinned, and I think there was a little one just there before, but they recently did a reconstruction of her, and she's a pale white woman. Yeah, light eyes, light hair, all those good things. And that this is also just a jealous lie. You know this bust of Amanya Hapata, but you call him Amenhotep, right? So he wants to try to indicate that he knows special names, and you would call him something, but he knows special. And of course, any of that wording there was given to them by Caucasians, and it was Caucasians that redeciphered hieroglyphics. And I don't think you see too many Negroes that know hieroglyphics. Most of them, whenever they get into Egyptology, find out that they had nothing to do with it, and they balk out of the class real quick. Again, this was done in U-wood, and I don't care if you paint him green or blue. That's Caucasian. He also has that dome hat. See, it's a hat, and it has all these sequins all over it. It's a little unique for the period. Also, they've drawn full nipples on him, whereas even some of the older statues would just have a little peg. But, yeah, different. Belly button, everything. So, no, that's not a Negro. You see this pyramid, a tomb in medium Egypt? Yeah, that's like a step pyramid and stuff. And, of course, all the Arabic people and stuff like that did too. But, oh, they have the same in Askia, Mali. Oh, well, Mali was started by Queen Tenhanen, another Caucasian of the Berbers and stuff. They found her tomb and everything. I've got a video about that. They keep trying to say it was this black guy and everything, and that's 800 years later, and they had already established it quite well. Then, of course, they had the library there and everything, and they try to claim that. And this was all Islamic people coming in and trying to help them out. And they go, oh, we had a library. And it's like, that's not your library. But most people doubt that they could even read anything that was in the library. It was just the Arabic people that had it there. So there's an Egyptian headrest, and 7P7 did a video on this and showing how none of these connect to be the same, and that Egyptian headrest is 2600 BC, and this Mali headrest is less than 100 years old and made out of some kind of craft. And if you want me to carve out one and say that Irish people had one because I'm Irish too, that'd be about as foolish as trying to show something like this. Let's continue. Not even remotely the same, but what about this ancient Egyptian harp? Oh man, he's got me now. Oh, he's got me. Because he's showing pale Caucasian women with long hair playing on harps that look like Sumerian harps and guitar that looks like the Ghitan people that it originally came from. And I've got a video that shows a Sumerian guitar. It looks exactly like that from ancient times. Who else played the harp a lot? Oh, well, we know the laments of the Greeks on the harp and everything. But did the Negroes have harps? No, they didn't. Much later they show up with a harp. Let's see if he can show one after mistakenly, showing the Caucasian ladies there and how pale they are. We have the same in Gabon. Oh, that's not near the same, but it looks like a sad attempt at it. Oh, let's look at this. This is Ramses' helmet. You call him Ramses II, but he's got a secret black name for him. He calls him Ooga Booga Lie. And I can only guess that they're about to show that sad picture that they try to attempt to show sometimes, where this is an actual helmet and a hat, and he describes it as such. But oh man, they're fixing to show that black guy who's tried to shave his head in a modern time to look like that and act like, look, wheeze. You can mimic all you want nowadays. It doesn't matter anything on the past. In fact, you can yap all you want to. Now, modern days, it's the past. Until you get an actual time machine, none of this is going to change. And you don't have one. And if we get a time machine, we're not using it for that. Definitely. Well, let's watch this. Oh, that's it. And now, hilariously, he said, "Look at this helmet, and you know him as Ramses. I've got a special name that I know." Whee! But then we look at this. This Tutsi tribe man has the same hairstyle. Well, hold on. You just said a second ago that wasn't a hairstyle. It was a helmet. Now you're trying to say that a Negro did something silly with his hair, and it's it. But is it the same? Oh no, it's not even the same. He doesn't have the half moon around and the big dome on it. Does it actually look the same? Oh no. And that is a helmet? Oh yes. And that's a Caucasian, and that's a Negro? Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Caucasians were, Negroes were Caucasian mimicking hair hats now, but that doesn't mean that they're Caucasians. You know, they jealously like the hair, and they're surrounded by us, and so they take up our idea of beauty, and then they try to make themselves look like that, and it makes them even more hate themselves. But they're subjected to it because they stay in America. I mean, they could have gone back and tried to make a Wakanda or do things like that, but they would choose rather to live off of us and mooch and do this leech thing. Of course, if we look at Africa and the state it's in, all the way thousands and thousands of years later, comparison-wise, and with so much help from Caucasians and colonizing and billions spent onto it, what they still have. And in the big cities, you can start to really see that they are trying to mimic the Western civilization, but if you go back out in the bush, not much has changed, bro. Yeah, so no wonder. And they always want to hate on America whenever it's the best continent in the world. And I'm not prejudiced. It is the people that have taken us through and into the space age. They can fly now, and all that was done by the Caucasians that founded the great country of America. I always, make America great again, Trump's statement. It's kind of weird, but yeah, I guess he'd have to snap us out of what those SJW freaks are trying to do with our political system here. So let's just move on. Are this ancient Egyptian hoe? Okay, well, that ancient Egyptian hoe, there's ones just like it and very similar to it in Sumeria, and that's where all the grains and the cattle come from, is there in Anatolian upper farmers there. Yeah, that they know for a fact, genetically, bam, that's exactly it. And the grains and everything, all the wheat and all that stuff. Yeah, any cattle that are in Negroid Africa have all been brought to them. Goats, any of those animals, they aren't endemic to Africa in any way, shape, or form. It was brought into it. But, so now he's going to show me something that looks like it. And that's impressive that somehow later we have the same in West Africa. Yeah, well, whenever we interacted with West Africa, we showed him these simple tools and stuff. This is what would be just like a hoe type of thing. But you can see how primitive that is next to the hoes that we have now. And this is a modern thing. This isn't some relic they found. This is what people are using today. Whereas over here in America, we have developed engines and we have tractors, and we can do a whole field and all kinds of stuff. We've helped them out a lot with that here in the past and things, but it seems like we had a problem not too long ago where they wanted to kill the white farmers off and then steal their land and then become the farmer, but failed. Yeah, on like 3 different occasions, and now it's happening in South Africa and much, much worse things. But that's not what this is about. Let's continue. Oh. Now let's talk about the Dogon tribe. Oh boy, I've done some videos about this. So let's see what he says. So here's these Dogon people, still primitive as hell, wearing these birds of paradise outfits with conch shells on them, and they do this little dance around thing that they do, and they wear masks. Yeah, it's pretty unique. Their little culture's a little different than everybody. And they've started building these hut type of things, and they don't have a language, they haven't written language really, but they have starting of, iconography and that type of thing, so ideograms, if you will, and stuff like that. And you can see a lot of it here on their wall using black, red, and white paint, right? They possess advanced astronomical knowledge. Well, I question that statement. I question that statement so seriously that just recently, would they know that we have all the planets going around us? And are they aware of their planets and their paths? Are they aware of the seasons, cycle, and equinoxes? No, okay. Whenever they went there to investigate this and found out what they talk about, this was Caucasian explorers that were doing this, and they found out about it. Do they know that we live in a galaxy or a solar system? No, they don't? Okay. Do they know that our galaxy is but one of millions of galaxies and the universe is so young? So I wonder if black people think advanced astronomical knowledge, advanced would be the Caucasians with the super telescopes and Hubble and all that stuff, and we peered into the darkest universe. These people haven't done any of that, but they possess advanced astronomical knowledge. Well, that was touted by this group, and I remember the National Geographic thing about it, so another group went out there to it, and they found out, there's Sirius A and Sirius B star. And it's one of the brightest stars in the sky. So they have this written on their wall in a little ideogram thing, and they tell them about it. And so they said, oh wow, they know about Sirius A. That's weird, because they don't know anything else about the universe, but they know about this. It's a strange thing. What do they know about? So they talk to him about it, and they don't know about Sirius B and the clock change of it. They know it goes from constant to flickering to constant to flickering. That's all they know. Well, We realize that and have that in old text from thousands of years before this. Let's see what it says. Sirius has two companion stars, the Digiterius star and the female Sargam star, respectively the first and second companions of Sirius A. Sirius in the Dogon system formed one of the foci for the orbit of a tiny star, the compassionate Digiterius star. When Digitaria is closest to Sirius, that star brightens. When it is furthest from Sirius, it gives off a twinkling effect that suggests the observer several stars. The orbit cycle is 60 years. You can tell me that, black man, because of Caucasian knowledge that was given to you and you clip and pasted it in there. The Dogon do not know what you just said. They verified the Dogon do not know what you said. Robert Temple was fascinated by the advanced astronomical knowledge of the Dogon tribe they possessed, so he concluded that the ancient Egyptians possessed these advanced informations and that the Dogons were partly descendants of the ancient Egyptians. No, he concluded they must have learned it from them, being a primitive Negroid tribe whenever the Egyptians weren't Negroid, but he tried real hard at the end, didn't he? Sad, pathetic. No one has ever said that those Bushmen Negroes were related to Egyptians in any way. They haven't built anything of stone ever. They're primitives. Well, so you think it simply means what do you don't know that you don't know about? Let me go back. Wasn't there something? I swear this was the one where he doesn't give it 5 seconds. Oh, okay. So after that, I see you coming. Oh, he sees me coming. Well, I tell you what, Negro, we all see you coming, and we're giggling our ass off at the lie, the jealous lie. I see you coming. You might be wondering if we really are the descendants of ancient Egyptians, why we didn't do anything else in Africa. Yeah, you did see me coming because I said that right there, but what excuse you're going to give us? Well, lol. Oh, you laugh about the fact of being primitive? If you think so simply it means that you don't know Africa. Let me give you a few pics of what we did. Pure local masterpieces, please. No help from outside. Okay, so, well, let's just talk about the Dogon real quick before we leave to this next lie. The Dogon say themselves that white people came and told them about that star. Yeah, they've got it on video and the whole thing. The Credo Mutwa, he is the tribal head, said so too on video camera, and he even drew a picture of them, and they look like Nordic people. Yeah, and he said that they came and told him all about the stars and everything. So you can try to yap and lie, but the people themselves say it. That's like Lalibela, the church up in Ethiopia. They tell you that white angels built it by nighttime. Yeah. But we'll probably get there too on this, I'm sure, because he's going to try to claim that. And whenever, just a moment ago, in that statement where he said, so you say we, so here we go again with West African primitives trying to claim anywhere else. West African primitives did not know that Great Zimbabwe existed in any way, shape, or form, but they want to say that it did and then claim it. Well, this zigzag form at the top is showing that it hooks up to Yemen and quite a few other places. I've shown this in a recent video. Well, hell, it's been almost a year ago now. And in doing so, but oh, hold on. The locals say it was white men that built it. So blacks in America are yep, and they tell you, we as Egyptians, da-da-da. Well, when you go over there, they go, no, why as white men built this and everything, da-da-da. And they want to make them quit saying that real quick. So come on, get in our lie. Live a lie. Yeah, the Horus eagles all around there too shows you also they didn't have a connection to it. And, they've never built great stonework in any way, shape, or form. So they try to show this, and it's all they can really show. It's something that's down in sub-Saharan Africa, Great Zimbabwe. But they even named the people, the Maiti, I think, that built it. Right. So this doesn't have anything to do with Negroids. Now the Negroids are living around it, but that's just like America. It was all built by Caucasians and stuff, and now Negroids are living around it. You might have some helping in construction now, but picking cotton does not make a nation. And he talks about how big the walls are that the Caucasians made, and how little the black people are there today, wearing pink Caucasian dresses sent to them as part of an aid project. But no, they didn't have anything to do with it. Here's an Ethiopian church. This guy can't spell. 12th century. Yeah, it was built way into the 12th century. So you know there was already a lot of interaction of those Caucasians, the Caucasian Egyptians into there and everything. But also, the Horn of Africa showed Caucasians all the way back to Elder Times. Yeah, and the Egyptians had connections to those people and everything. Yeah, and then there was the Cushites and stuff. The only black people were the Nubians that came in. So, and this is the place hewn out of solid rock. Any other place they didn't know? Well, that's why, because this was said by themselves, and to this day, they will not lie. They're a religious people. They're not going to lie that white angels built it by nighttime. Also, in it is symbology of Jewish crosses and all kinds of things. And while surely they are one of the first people to just drop whatever they had and jump on the bandwagon of the Bible, it is not their book, and they weren't the people of the Bible, and they also aren't listed as being a biblical people, and Negroids, of course, are not. Neither are Amerindians or Eskimos or the people of India or anything like that. It wasn't them. It was a book about the Caucasians in that boat, you know, that comes out of Samaria and then the flood, and they end up in the Caucasus Mountains, yeah, that Ararat. So that really had nothing to do with black people. It's our religion, and you try to claim it because you don't like the witch doctor thing, and we can understand that. We can understand that. But what we can't stand is you knowing that we know that you're lying, and you still want to jealously lie. It causes your own racism by your own hands, and then makes y'all, you know, blacks actually get to believe this. If you don't think so, look at a lot of the comments that I have, that it doesn't happen so much anymore because they realize it's too strong. But it still happens some. And on my older videos, they'll get on and yap, 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 and then run, you know, and things and stuff, and tell me I'm a Neanderthal caveman. It's hilarious. Hilarious. These primitives try to call me a caveman whenever we can fly and go to space, and they are reliant on it. It's amazing. So then we look at Meroe, which is up in the Sudan area. They've got approximately 300 pyramids. Actually, it's a lot less than that. And then they've got pyramid of forms, and then they've got these dome-ish little things that are all around. But this was built way back in the time whenever they had the government governing people up here in Ramses' time. He had built all the way up the Nile into this area here, and also conspicuously Meroe. What is that? Meroe is the name of Cambyses' sister. Who's Cambyses? He's the Persian guy, king of Persians. Oh no, in this area they had Candake and stuff. That's Candace. And what is Candace? That's the word for queen in Persia. By the way, the Persians at this time self-proclaim that they're Aryans, so we're not going to even go there, are we? These are repurposed. Funny, 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 if you go in this door and look in there, they'll have Isis on the wall and things, and she's more pale than I am. And it's well shown that these people here had taken on the Egyptian religion, just like black people are taking on the Caucasian religion. Of course, they never say that it was their Bible, do they? Oh, yes, they do. They say they were part of it. They were the real Hebrews. If you want, I can show you some pictures of black people in America standing on street corners yelling at white people that their Bible and religion isn't their religion. Somehow it's the West African primitives. And if you thought that was disgusting, I can go worse, but let's just continue. Yoruba's Nigerian art, Middle Ages, Europa, and colonists stole them all. Let's see, I believe that they killed a whole bunch of people off, got pissed, and they ransacked the place for it. It happened more than once, where they came in calm and helped, and somebody did something, and one black guy, here we go, and yep, and watch out. Amazingly, 7 Phoenician 7 just did a video that shows you the Yoruba way back when had Caucasian influx with those people, and this is how they learned how to make that art. It's simplistically known. Why does it stand out so much? Because it looks like Caucasian art, and they did with this. You can tell that doesn't look that good, but some of these were done from dual casting wax forms and things like that. So here's Gia's script, and this is not a Negroid dialect in any way, shape, or form. It's what the people in the Gia's area that use this language use, and it comes out of Arabic and Arabian languages and stuff along that line. And if you look, the signs, it's similar to Sanskrit and everything, but this isn't a Negroid language. Negroids use it now, just like he's trying to type up here in English badly sometimes. And that doesn't have anything to do with Negroids either. But he wants to show like that's a big thing. Bamoun script in Cameroon. And here we again see the influence of the Caucasians that came in and their writing system. Yeah. The first writing system from Negroids is actually 1949. Every other script than that, including this one, is all brought to them by other people, and then they adopted and made it into their words and all those type of things. But they're all phonetic and they're all built off of this alphabet. The black people never had any writing or anything like that. They were really pre-Stone Age level when found, but they don't want that anymore. They want to cool Egypt. We built Egypt. Well, no matter what, West Africans never knew that that existed and aren't part of the Bible or anything either. Why would you say that they were? Well, the only people that say they were these West Africans. Well, that's disgusting. I just had a video, an old one, where a guy's trying to fight with me and call out. He pulled out a thesaurus and tried to write a couple of big words after he was shown to have been stupid and do a couple of things wrong, and then he starts yip-yipping like he has the upper hand. It's hilarious. It really is hilarious. But in the process, he realized that he lost before he even started, and all he did was yap. And I'm waiting for him to return again. I may do a video on it and go through the whole thing because he keeps trying so hard. It's almost like squats back in the day and stuff. It's like squats version 4.2. Have you heard about the great African emperor Mansa Musa? Yeah. Have you heard about him? He was taken over by Islamic people and then sold off his people, made a whole bunch of money, killed elephants and things for their ivory, and really did a destructive process. And then supposedly at the time got to be the richest man in the world. And he blew every cent of it going on a pilgrimage to Islam. Yeah, even talks about how he has to sell people to even make the trip eventually and stuff like that too. So, no, not necessarily. And by the way, did you know Mansa Musa? Did any West African ever make eyes contact with him? Did they just know that that's the guy that sells us all? But they want to pimp it. It's about all they've got. So we've got to leave that alone. And so that's the end of the video. And here we see an admixed Negro, for he has a beard, a heavy beard on him. And this shows you well and full that he's already admixed, because most Negroids don't grow hardly any facial hair at all. If they can grow a beard, it's admixed. You can see them wild out in the bush and they don't hardly get anything. Khoisan don't hardly get anything. No. It's well known. They don't have much body hair at all. In fact, they tout that whenever they try to go Neanderthal. Oh, you're a hairy Neanderthal. We don't have that. And then you go, yeah, the only reason you have facial hair is from admixture. Shut up, Whitey. But that's the truth of that. But yeah, Mansa Musa. Is this supposed to be gold and he's all happy and rich? Well, why are there Islamic temples all around the man? Yeah, you don't want to pay attention to that, do you, with black people? Also, the fact that this is an Islamic map, and they talk about, hey, here's this king that we propped up and made rich, and he'll sell off his own people. He'll capture other people near him and sell them off too. Kill every elephant that we want. All we got to do is just show back up. They've already got elephants killed. Oh, by the way, he's running out of elephants. We're going to have to go somewhere else. Those Japanese people love ivory. So that's about it, guys. Egypt, Black African Empire is a farce. It never happened. Mansa Musa happened, but it happened the way that I'm telling you. You can look it up. And then all the other gibberish in between, and how every recreation is a Negro and all this type of stuff, it doesn't happen. In fact, just one last thing here. Let's see. He talked about, where is it? King Tut and his DNA and all that type of stuff, and try to say it about it, and yap, yap, yap. Well, these earliest Egyptian statues, the founders of Egypt, are these Caucasians that have blue eyes, just like the Sumerians do, and the ones that are shown to have been Buddha is blue eyes, all the way up to Temujin. What you know is Genghis Khan, he had bluish gray eyes. Those people don't, though. Negroids don't. I like it whenever I mention that, and then they try to show a picture of a Negroid with a genetic eye defect that's more rare than albinism, that shows one with black, and then you say, oh, so they were going for genetic defects, and any genetic defect Negro that actually has light skin like this, they were putting in power, and everybody else was, how did they bleach them back then? How did they get the women so pale whenever Negroid women don't do that? It's well known that Caucasians forever have drawn, and it really shows up to truth in reality, that the men, especially going out doing work, are going to get a lot more tanned, like this man that you see here, and women will stay pale. Although women are shown to be this color too that's there, but these are those crystal-eyed statues. There's quite a few of them. Not quite a few, I mean like 9, I think. There's a cat too, and there's a Horaha that has the blue eyes. And this guy's weird. Whenever you turn and change onto it, this eye, it looks more gray. This one looks blue. As you get in front of it, they both turn blue, and da-da-da. Also, they've noted that the way they did their eyes, it appears to be made in purpose so that they follow you around the room. Isn't that incredible? That's just one part of the reason that they say Egypt got to a certain point, and then I guess due to the strife that it had, it lost a lot of technology. In fact, a lot of people have said that they looked like they were about to lose it whenever the Hyksos came in. Ironically, I've got one of those Clyde Winter videos, the lying racist that claims everybody except are West African primitives, where he tries to claim the Hyksos. And if I don't remember, didn't he just last year do one where he said that the Hyksos were the first white people that came in? So not only is he that foolish, but then he tries to say, he waits a year later and he goes, oh, I'm going to claim them too. We're going to say that they are. And what he does is he says that they're Cushites too. And he tries to say the Cushites are Negroids. Yeah, it's hilarious. It's hilarious. So I'll probably do that one here shortly and have it out, I don't know, in the next week or two. No big strain on it, but if y'all would like to see that, say something in the comments. Anyhow, guys, that's about it for this Negro Live. And we'll continue on with real true history, and I'll show you a lot of more unique things. I've got a lot of videos coming up, and peace.